So this is the JBL Xtreme 4, and there are some significant upgrades here from both the JBL Xtreme 3 and the JBL Xtreme 2. Upgrades that are very similar to both the JBL Partybox 320 and the Partybox 120. Nonetheless, if you're thinking about picking up the JBL Xtreme 4, or if you're thinking about upgrading from either the Xtreme 3 or even the Xtreme 2, let's see what the JBL Xtreme 4 is all about. So first off, there's price. The JBL Xtreme 4 retails for $380, which is up there, and it is a price increase from both the Xtreme 3 and Xtreme 2, which both retailed for $350 when they first came out. Nonetheless, I do expect the speaker to go on sale on a regular basis, especially during shopping holidays. So if you want to pick the speaker up, it'll be linked down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button. And if you want to further support the channel, pick up a big head approved hat, linked down below. We've got trucker hats and snapbacks. By buying a hat, you help the unbiased and unsponsored videos coming, and it also helps us cover more products and produce more versus videos. Thank you to everyone who's already bought a hat, and look out for more designs coming soon. And also, please remember to hit that like button, and let's get subscribed. So first, there is the design of this speaker. Looks and size-wise, the Xtreme 4 is a little larger than both the Xtreme 3 and Xtreme 2. Specifically, it's a little taller, and strangely enough, the passive radiators are a little smaller. Now personally, I think the shape of the Xtreme 4 is a little weird, especially towards the base. However, something that I do like that JBL did here is that they gave the Xtreme 4 a sturdier base than the Xtreme 3. Because with the Xtreme 3 and JBL's past speakers, they had these thin rubber feet which are prone to peeling off, like on my Charge 5. But the Xtreme 4's rubber feet might do a better job of staying in place. But from an overall durability standpoint, the Xtreme 4 still has a mostly fabric wrap body, which is going to do a great job of standing up to constant abuse from bumps and scrapes. The Xtreme 4 is still IPX7 rated, meaning that it's water and dust proof, and it floats in water. Overall, the Xtreme 4 is super durable, just as you'd expect. And just like before, the Xtreme 4 is a great speaker to take on the go with you, not just because it's small and lightweight, weighing in at just 4.63 pounds, but it also has a removable shoulder strap, which makes carrying the speaker super easy. But also, this shoulder strap has a built-in bottle opener, so you can easily open your not-so-soft drinks. Overall, the Xtreme 4 is a loud, durable, and portable Bluetooth speaker, just as you'd expect from any Xtreme speaker. Now, when it comes to battery life, this is perhaps the most important upgrade here, and is very similar to what we saw on both the Partybox 320 and the Partybox 120. Now, the Xtreme 4 has an advertised battery life of 24 hours, which is a big upgrade from both the Xtreme 3 and the Xtreme 2, which both have an advertised battery life of 15 hours. However, this advertised battery life of 24 hours is with this speaker playing at 50% volume, which is already a decent listening volume. However, real-world use with this speaker playing at 80% volume, which is a good volume to use when you're with friends, I was getting about 14 hours of playback time, and at max volume, I managed to squeeze out 8 hours of playback time out of this speaker. So battery life performance on the Xtreme 4 is a major upgrade. But also, you can always extend the battery life of this speaker by setting it to its playtime boost, which is basically just going to lower the overall bass of this speaker, and it's just going to make it sound a lot brighter. You should really only use playtime boost when you really have to, but this isn't a feature that you would want to use all of the time if you want to get the best sound out of the speaker. But one of the really cool things about the Xtreme 4 is that you can now fairly easily remove the battery in this speaker. Now, removing the battery on the Xtreme 4 isn't as easy as removing the battery on the Partybox 320 or 120, but it's now easy enough to get into it, and surprisingly, the Xtreme 4 uses the same battery as the 320. So technically, if you want, you can always buy multiple batteries and swap them out and just keep the party going. Now, I do feel that a lot of people are going to say that they wish that JBL would have used a spring-loaded door on the Xtreme 4 like they did on the party boxes. However, I feel that JBL went with the screw approach on the Xtreme 4 so that they can keep their IP67 water resistance. Nonetheless, the battery life performance and swappable batteries on the Xtreme 4 is a major upgrade over both the Xtreme 3 and Xtreme 2, and this is going to help prolong the overall life of your speaker. But But when it comes to charging the speaker, it charges via a USB-C port, just like the Xtreme 3, which is super convenient. Because with the Xtreme 2, it charges via a barrel port and there is an external power brick that you have to worry about. Whereas with both the Xtreme 4 and the Xtreme 3, you can just charge it up using your phone's USB-C charging cable. But ideally, you will use the included charging cable that comes with the Xtreme 4, which is the same as the one that comes with the Xtreme 3, because with this charging cable, you are going to get a performance boost. The Xtreme 4 is going to get louder and it's going to have more bass. But in general, I do want to point out that the Xtreme 4 does come included with a charging cable, because with most speakers of this size and price, they just come with a USB-C cable, but they don't have a wall adapter, which is a little annoying. However, this USB-C port is the only port that you're going to find on the Xtreme 4. Unfortunately, there is no 3.5mm audio jack like on both the Xtreme 3 and Xtreme 2, and there's no longer a USB-A port. Now, personally, I don't care that the Xtreme 4 doesn't have a USB-A port because I never used it on the Xtreme 3 or Xtreme 2, and you can just use the USB-C port on the Xtreme 4 to charge your own devices just like on the Xtreme 3. But unlike the Xtreme 3, where you can use its USB-C port to charge your own devices and use it as a wired connection, you can only use the USB-C port on the Xtreme 4 to charge your own devices. Overall, I do like that you can still charge your own devices with the USB-C port on the Xtreme 4, but I do think that it is a shame that this speaker does not have an audio jack on it, because it's just too big and too expensive for it to not have an audio jack. But when it comes to overall connectivity, the Xtreme 4 can still be connected to 2 devices at the same time, so you and a friend can both be DJ. And when it comes to audio codecs, the Xtreme 4 still only has support for SBC. Now, this isn't a problem. However, there is a noticeable amount of latency, so watching movies or videos with this speaker isn't the best. And I do hope that JBL fixes this through a future firmware update, because latency is not an issue for the Xtreme 3, which is also using SBC. But with all that out of the way, let's talk about sound. Regarding speaker setup, things are the same across the Xtreme 2, Xtreme 3, and Xtreme 4. All 3 of these speakers have dual front firing woofers, dual front firing tweeters, and dual passive radiators that shoot out the sides. And with all 3 of these speakers, if you use them while they're plugged in, you are going to get a performance boost out of them. They're going to get louder and they're going to have more bass. However, only the Xtreme 3 and Xtreme 4 allow you to customize their EQ to your liking, and only the Xtreme 4 has AI auto calibration, and I hope that you can hear me rolling my eyes right now. But now we're just going to go ahead and jump into the sound test. All 3 of these speakers are playing at 75% volume while unplugged, and they're all playing with their stock EQs.
I can't go back to you, my friend. Don't even ask. Don't play pretend. You know you left me lonely. I could tell them the whole story. It may take a couple hours. I've got time. Let's get to chat. To how could I explain the situation? Man, it's so damn complicated. Where do I start? Where do I end? I should go back to bed. I'm going back to all the basics. Teaching myself now how to erase it. It's like learning a whole new language, and I'm afraid, too scared to face it. I just want consistent clarity, but all my thoughts destroying me. Some peace of mind is all I need. Give peace to all of my family. I can't go back to you, my friend. Don't even ask. Don't play pretend. You think you are everything I need, but I gotta leave. Try but can't get through to me. It's not you, yeah, it's always me. I close my heart to you, you see it opens up for nobody. It's been so hard to fall asleep. The weather always makes my nose bleed. Makes my nose bleed. It's so hard to believe that one day I'll feel peace. I want control over my life. I want that driver's seat. Yeah, it's not you that I need. You push me down when I'm weak. You were never there for me. Go pick up your keys and leave. I can't go back to you, my friend. Don't even ask, don't play pretend. You think you're everything I need, wanna go back to you, my friend. Don't even ask, don't play pretend, cause you think you are everything I need, but I gotta leave.
So when it comes to sound, both the Xtreme 4 and Xtreme 3 get louder than the Xtreme 2. They both sound more open and they both have much better detail in the mids than the Xtreme 2. However, when it comes to comparing the Xtreme 4 to the Xtreme 3, there does seem to be more detail and clarity in the mids, which is great. However, when collecting these sound tests, I did notice that the Xtreme 4 had the least amount of physicality in its bass. The bass on the Xtreme 4 is good, but I do recommend that you go into its EQ settings and raise the bass. But then when it comes to max volume performance, just as you'd expect, the Xtreme 4 gets significantly louder than the Xtreme 2, and the Xtreme 4 gets a little louder than the Xtreme 3. It's not a huge difference, but it is there. But like I mentioned earlier, with all of these speakers, if you use them while they're plugged in, they're all going to get louder and they're all going to have more bass. But again, the Xtreme 4 is able to outperform these other two speakers. But in general, I feel the Xtreme 4 is going to be good for like a 10-person get-together, but don't expect the bass on the speaker to rattle the walls in your house. Overall, sound performance improvement on the Xtreme 2 to the Xtreme 4 is very big, because the Xtreme 4 is going to sound more open and is going to get noticeably louder. However, the sound performance improvement between the Xtreme 3 to the Xtreme 4 is more nuanced, and I feel that your average user isn't going to notice a huge difference. But finally, let's talk about pairing these speakers up with other speakers, because there are a lot of rules to break down here. Now, first off, the JBL Xtreme 2 is using JBL's Connect Plus, meaning that it can only connect to other JBL Connect Plus speakers, which means speakers from like 5 years ago. But with all of these speakers, if you have two of the exact same speakers, then you can wirelessly pair them up and get them to play in left and right stereo mode. But then there's the JBL Xtreme 3, which is using Partyboost, so you can pair it up to other Partyboost speakers, like either a Boombox 3, a Boombox 2, an Xtreme 3, a Charge 5, a Pulse 5, a Pulse 4, a Flip 5, or to a Flip 6, and you can pair up to 100 speakers together and get them to play in sync. But then there's the Xtreme 4, which is using Auracast. So with the Xtreme 4, you can pair it up to other Auracast speakers, like either another Xtreme 4, or to a Clip 5, or to a Go 4. But you can also wirelessly connect your Xtreme 4 up to JBL's larger Partybox speakers that are also using Auracast, like either the Partybox 120, 320, or Ultimate. And this is a huge deal, because before you couldn't connect your smaller Partyboost speakers to any of JBL's larger Partybox speakers that were using TWS. But also with the Xtreme 4, even though it's using Auracast, you can also pair it up to JBL's Partyboost speakers as well. But here's the thing, if you have two Auracast speakers, like let's say an Xtreme 4 and a Partybox 320 or 120, all you have to do is just press the Auracast button on each speaker and they'll automatically sync up. But if you're trying to connect an Auracast speaker to your Partyboost speaker, like an Xtreme 4 to an Xtreme 3, you do have to connect them together through JBL's app. Now, connecting your speakers through JBL's app works fine, but it is a little slow and it can be a little clunky, especially when compared to just having to press one button on each speaker. But my main problem with connecting an Auracast speaker to multiple Partyboost speaker is latency and echoes are pretty common. And these issues only get fixed if you disconnect your speakers and pair them up again. So I hope that JBL is able to fix this issue through a firmware update as well. But nonetheless, the fact that the JBL Xtreme 4 now has Auracast is great because you can pair your smaller, more portable speakers to your larger Partybox speakers that are also using Auracast, and Auracast is going to give you backwards compatibility. So if you have any of JBL's older speakers that are using Partyboost, they'll still be able to connect to your Xtreme 4. You're just gonna have to open up the app and cross your fingers. But with all that being said, the JBL Xtreme 4 has some very important upgrades over the JBL Xtreme 3 and Xtreme 2. First off, there's the battery on this speaker. The JBL Xtreme 4 has a much longer lasting battery than both the Xtreme 3 and Xtreme 2. So this speaker is going to be able to go on multiple beach days on a single charge. But more importantly, you can now relatively easily swap out the battery in this speaker, which is going to help prolong the overall lifespan of the speaker. Or you can always buy multiple batteries and just swap them out and keep the party going. Now, I know some people are going to say that they just wish JBL added a spring door like they did on both the Partybox 320 and 120 so that it's easier to swap out the batteries, but I feel JBL went with the screws here for better water resistance. But also, the Xtreme 4 is now using Auracast, so you can pair the speaker up with current or future Auracast speakers. You can also connect the Xtreme 4 to your larger box speakers that are also using Auracast, and you can still connect your Xtreme 4 to your older JBL speakers that are using Partyboost. But finally, there's the sound performance on the Xtreme 4. Just as you'd expect, the Xtreme 4 sounds and performs a lot better than the Xtreme 2. And when comparing the Xtreme 4 to the Xtreme 3, you're going to get better detail in the mids. But just as you'd expect from JBL's Xtreme lineup of speakers, the JBL Xtreme 4 is a solid pickup if you're looking for something small, loud, and portable. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.